are very dependent on having a very clear strategy. While heroes like on Vici Gaming side, Timbersaw, Tiny, Slaughter, these are like skirmish heroes through and through. They're very good at 2v2, 3v3 scenarios. They're even good at getting solo kills. So I think that the game is going to draw out a bit, and I think it's going to be the favor of Vici Gaming, and you're going to see Ice just tear it up on the Timbersaw. I think this is a very favorable game for them. Again, a lack of disables. He unfortunately has to face up against the Skywrath Mage, which is terrible, but that's kind of what's going to happen, honestly. If the rest of the pool doesn't have any real good disables besides the Sven Stun, it's very clear Vega Squadron are going to make up for it when something like a Disruptor or a Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, and it looks like, at the moment, doesn't this Vici maybe switching up the lanes after they saw that? Because I think they do want to try and get Ice versus the Brood, potentially. So they might just switch these lanes around here. It looks like they will. So they're trying to get that Brood versus the Timber matchup that we were talking about in the draft camp. Yeah,
and the Lich should be paired up with either the Winter Wyvern or the Lich is with the Tiny, because they can't afford to just leave Tiny against an SF.
Oh! Okay, they're catching on to FY. Yeah, do they have to follow? It's hard to fly up to the high ground, especially with this. Oh, three-man avalanche. Burning's trying to move into the crush, but he can't quite close the gap.
If Burning was there, if Burning had just been there a half a second earlier, that was a three-man crush and an easy kill on Skywrath Mage.
But I think this top lane, though, as we're talking about, this is what we expected. This is two very good players on pretty much their signature heroes here, but is this just... How do you play around this as a Broodmother, knowing that you've got to deal with the Timbersaw?
Well, part of the thing is take advantage of the jungle. It's the same thing when you're matched up against an Axe in many ways, is that you just get your Broodlings, but you throw them in the jungle as much as possible and get the extra farm there. Because there's no real kill opportunities against a Timbersaw. He is so good against you because he also has an escape mechanism. The downside of Axe is that you can actually lose to the Broodmother when she goes webs and incapacitating bite, and a level 6 can just hunt you down with insatiable hunger. The same cannot be said against a Timbersaw because he has that escape mechanism, and he oftentimes will just out DPS you with his burst once he has that chakram. So you just try and get as much farm as possible via jungle, and that's pretty much it.
Looking at the other lanes at the moment, no one having the slightly better time at the moment. 6 for 0 against the 3 for 0 Super. Both did have their respective supports, the Wyvern and the Scarf, hanging around at bottom lane. We may see a bit of action going on. It's Burning and Fenrir moving quite aggressively. They might look to turn this. The War Price pop from Pasha gets the stun out to Fenrir. The wrap rounds from Solo, and they'll look to take one. The Crushers come out, catches onto Pasha, but he gets out of the stun. He gets the kill onto the Lich. And now Solo looking for the body blocks. Can't quite find it though, and Burning will be able to walk this one off. And nonetheless, first blood there for Vega, and some very nice movement there from the supports towards the bottom lane, which was always going to be something we were going to be aware of, because Vici, with this dual lane situation, maybe trying to force some of the focus away from the mid lane, so SF's left on his own. But it doesn't work when it ends up you giving away a hero to the side of Vega.
Yeah, that was very clearly bad positioning from Fenrir. I can't think of a scenario, unless you're getting a kill, which he definitely was not, where a Lich is that far forward. It just should not happen.
Look at this. As well, Burning already, he's leaving the lane with this Invis rune. He wanted to try and find something mid, but essentially this is time down the drain here for Burning.
Yeah, no one, he seems to know about the Invis pickup and is playing this rather defensively. I think he's expecting, especially with the lane far forward, that the Winter Wyvern was going to cut him as well.
Burning, he's trying to give it somewhere onto Shoma the Slayer, but he's going to have to find himself somewhere, because at the moment the farm game for the cause of Vega is looking pretty strong in comparison. Obviously the one lane at the moment that's going really well for Vici Gaming is that top lane. Ice at the moment 15 for 6 on the Timbersaw, level 4 as well. As expected, he's having a fine old time against the Spider.
Mag is probably going to go for an Orchid build this game on the Broodmother, just because it's quite strong versus the Timbersaw, and is actually pretty decent versus the Tiny as well. The biggest question is whether or not he's going to be able to find that farm. Now, he's doing something pretty important right now. He's going to cut the creep wave as time goes on. It's best at level 5, where you get 3 spiders per round, and you're really able to get a giant army pretty quickly. But this is going to be his best way to deal with the Timbersaw until supports rotate over. And it looks like the Winter Wyvern, they've got the early dust.
Okay, and they'll pop it straight away, but it doesn't quite catch Mag there. Nice positioning, keeping himself in the tree line. He should be fine.
Is under attack.
And yeah, Mag, he's well on top of this rotation. He's going to be A-okay. And bottom lane still, I mean, I know, but I really feel this is an issue. The fact that you're effectively position 1. Gary's only got 5 CS at 4 minutes in, and Pasha's reaching on to 20. This is not ideal here for the Slardar.
Yeah, and Burning, I think, has a very distinct playstyle, whether it's the, you know, AFK, farm real heavy.
And if he... Oh! Bloody God!
I was just going to say, you know, Lich is good in this lane because you actually have a large amount of physical damage between Sven and Dazzle, but that ice armor will not make up for the nuke.
Where's your ice armor now? I mean...
Shadow Wave is insane.
Honestly, this is not fantastic for Burning. It really isn't.
I mean, whether it's on the AFK, like, split-pushing Animage, or it's on more aggressive, like, Queen of Pain safe lane, Burning is, like, guaranteed early farm a lot of the times, and that's just his playstyle, and you will, as a team, have to play around that, and this is very clearly not the case. Burning is going to be one of the most gimped heroes. I said early on in the draft that you have to change up your net worth now, where Ice is going to be given a lot more priority. I'm not sure how that's going to fit with Burning.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one thing that Vici really have to rely on Ice to make something happen. He is level 6 now, but as a Timbersaw, what is the plan here? Are we going to see rotations for him, or does he have to sit in lane and kind of farm up his first big item really before he can afford to be that effective across the map?
He does actually need to sit in lane because they don't have a better hero to match up against the Broodmother yet. Eventually the Sven can do it rather easily, but for now, when he doesn't have any splash and he doesn't have those heavy stats that can deal with the Broodmother nuke, he can't do it. So Timbersaw is going to be spending a lot of farm time here. I'm very
mid lane as well. Super. I was going to say he was the other kind of saving grace at the moment for the side. He might be fine here. So the raises will miss, but the second ball connects onto him. He's going to be fine. And now Burning has come in, but this is Solo there. Solo with the jukes, able to walk himself around, and he will get himself away.
That was absurd juking by Super and Solo. The fact that it should have been a guaranteed kill on the Tiny and a guaranteed kill on the Skywrath Mage, and neither one of those kills happened, is so weird. But Burning finds the bounty rune to bump him up to level 4 now by 6 minutes in.
It's not great.
No.
I mean, that was that was the second time really he's left the lane trying to find something, and it's just not paid off. Very high risk, maybe high reward situations that he's looked to put himself in. And at the moment, and the fact that, well, we haven't really mentioned the man, but we already talked his ass off in the first game. No one Shadow Fiend. He's having a fine time. 41 for 9. His progression, it's not been hindered at all by the side of Vici Gaming, and this Shadow Fiend's got the potential to just be as scary as he was in game 1.
Yeah, if by like 10 minutes or 15 minutes the Radiant side SF is not top the net worth, you've probably done something very wrong. So he's well on his way to, you know, continue that tradition and be the top net worth. He's hit that level 7. Looks like Vega are going to go for a kill on Fenrir here.
Yeah, Burning's going to come with the wraparound here. Has got a crush, but these ancient seals there, beautifully done. So Fenrir almost, I don't know, he's going to be fine. The crush comes out in time now, Super with the rotation. This is the turnaround that Vici need. They're trying to find Pasha. He's got a lot of armor, and he might be able to ward this off. He gets healed up by the weave. He's going to salve up as well. Turns around with Storm. He gets Burning, and Pasha's going to be fine now with the ancient seal onto Super. Pasha just turns, and he's ready to go with the aggression. The toss is there, but it goes on to Solo. No one's going to die apart from Solo. Gets an avalanche to the face, and now it's Pasha trying to chase down Super. Won't be able to do anything about it, but they get the kill on Burning. They do keep Pasha alive on the Sven, and they do just lose the Skywrath. So it's more positive action here really for the Sven. And Vici Gaming, they just don't quite find what would have been a crucial kill onto Pasha at this point.
And this is one of the big downsides of the Timbersaw. Merlina and I were talking about it in the Samael game where he had Timbersaw. Is that Timbersaw is a really bad offlaner right now because he just doesn't offer much in the laning phase, and he also needs such a significant amount of farm that he's not really viable, because if he has a bad laning phase and then he can't do anything going into the 20-minute marker. And you could see here, Ice. Most other offlaners would have been able to rotate to that fight to bottom lane, but instead it was forced on Super's mid, and they don't end up winning it. And what's the turn? Like, Ice is getting farm, yes, he's getting a decent amount here, but is he going to have that critical team fighting item, which is probably still Bloodstone? for him to be viable enough? Is this going to be fast enough? Is it going to be enough? Either way, I think Vega Squadron will gain an advantage. They'll take a lot of objectives before Timbersaw is ready, or they'll have such a net worth lead over the Timbersaw that his farm doesn't matter as much.
I mean, I was just looking at the Super as well. I mean, in terms of net worth, he's on 3k, it's 1.3 behind this SF. In terms of items, I think he's just got a Bracer coming out and 600 gold, so it's still going to be a bit of time before he'll be able to be effective across the map. But I guess that's Vici game, and they just need time. But if there's a team that's not going to give you time, it's going to be Vega Squadron, because they're going to realize that they're in a good position, and they're just going to step it up. Top lane, Mag might be in trouble. The dust comes out here from FY. Mag, he'll try and get himself away, but Ice, he chops on the mangoes, goes forward with the chain, and with the whirling death, and they will find themselves a kill onto the spider there. So it's a bit more money onto this Ice Timbersaw, helping him towards that inevitable bloodstone, as you were saying earlier. But it's small things here for Vici Gaming, but that they do need them.
Oh, bottom lane burning. I think he may be dying here if they have another slow, but no.
Again, the crush just enough to save him. But it is just saving him at this point. I mean, at this point of the game as well, the Wyvern has got more farm than Burning. And bottom lane, the push will come in. Stormhammer's available as well. Burning, he's going to salve up.
Got the wraparound from the Skywrath Mage.
Yeah.
Burning's build is also very weird. He went for the quote-unquote value level of Bash, so he started off 0, 2, and 1, but he had to go back for the sprints because you can't just not have sprint. That's absurd. And you also need early levels in sprint. Level 1 and 2 are not valuable enough, which is why you see oftentimes offlane starters actually go for 2 or 3 levels of sprint ahead of Crush. They will actually sometimes prioritize sprint over Crush because the movement speed is... it's not good enough oftentimes at level 1.
Yeah. I mean, what is the game plan here for Vici Gaming here? Are they just going to wait for a crucial point themselves? Are they just going to play incredibly defensively? I mean, it certainly feels like Vega haven't been as aggressive as they were in game 1. I mean, we're 11 minutes in, they've only found themselves the 3 kills, but they're kind of focusing more on the farm game here. The fact that SF's looking very
yeah, absolutely. They're not going to be aggressive until like 20 minutes because, first of all, they want the mech on the SF. Most likely, they'll want to have BKB against a tiny Timbersaw, but it's also the fact that Broodmother. Like, both SF and Broodmother are getting a really good amount of farm, and that's only going to snowball further as the heroes get stronger, right? Broodmother especially starts really racking up a large amount of farm because she takes over your whole entire jungle, and this limits the ability of Vici Gaming to farm as well. And you also need the Orchid on Broodmother. So you want to keep this pretty well spread. You would like to be able to establish just a very long laning phase in some ways to make sure that those 2 cores get as much solo time as possible.
And again, we're going to see Burning try for some more aggression. He's come up to the top lane. He's got level 6 and with the Amplify. They're smoked up himself and Super. You know, Ice moving in onto Mag, and that should dust as well. And this should be enough to set it up. There's the toss forward on Burning. Comes straight in, lands onto Mag. They'll get themselves that kill. The TP will be cancelled by Vega. But this time, Burning's aggression and rotation paying off. And they should be able to find a tier 1 here as well at the top. And this is also, I believe, going to give the money here for Super to be very close to what I imagine is going to be the Blink Dagger straight up on the Tiny.
That reminded me of the Secret game where they had the Slardar and Tiny combination, where Weehaw was just tossing Misery around constantly and getting kills because of it.
I mean, I guess it's one thing, you know, it's like, well, our Slardar didn't really get any farm. It's not going to have its Blink, but it doesn't matter, because as you said, the Tiny synergy it's beautiful in those kind of situations.
They now got the Blink Dagger. This is like all eyes on Super right now. Vici Gaming have to do something. They have to get some control. They have to shut down the Broodmother, shut down the SF, and that's going to be entirely on Super because, again, Ice isn't really ready to go just yet. Fortunately, he's level 11. He's got high amount of experience, but he doesn't have the Bloodstone just yet. And even then, you probably want Blink Dagger or some sort of mobility item as well. So it's going to have to Super filling in the gap before Burning is ready, before Ice is ready. Super has to be the one finding the openings.
On top lane, you're going to have no one coming up here to join Mag. Not going to be able to do anything really against Ice. He's going to be fine, just Timber chains himself away from trouble.
Good discipline. I mean, the fact that they were willing to bring an SF into a Broodmother lane says a lot about how well they read Vici Gaming's aggression and trying to pick off Mag in that scenario.
Yeah, and it looks like he's actually said they get the mech online, they're ready to just group up, go for the pushes. They'll try and take this tier 1 top here. They'll be happy to take a fight, but so will Vici by looks of it. They actually smoke themselves up from mid. Super Burning And F1 will see.
Vega may pay for trying to get aggressive early here because the mech may not get up. What if he's the first one bursted down by the tiny jump in and the
This could be
Winter's
big
Curse?
for Vici, and there's your toss forward. Onto no one, they get the crush as well, they're looking for the SF. The chain comes out, but now their mech's being popped. They're trying to temper the avalanche up to 2, and now the bounce is here for the chain thrust. The Winter's Curse combo is beautiful from Vici. They find themselves one. No one does get off the Requiem, but the toss from Super enables them to find themselves the second kill. They will lose Ice, and Solo Mag, they're looking to try and turn this. The Mystic Flare onto F5, bringing him low. Mag comes in on the Spider. They made it a 2 for 2. Suple's going to whip the avalanche. Mag's going to be fine, walks himself off. Shoma just kites around it, but then the toss, the baby kills her mother as it lands on the head of the Spider. Solo will end up going down as well here, so it's a messy fight. But Vici do end up coming out on top. They take the trade, 3 for 4, but it was, I mean, very chaotic fight there.
Yeah, I think it was very clear in my mind that Vega Squadron shouldn't be going for that fight because just having the mech is not enough. Vici Gamer going to target you first, and that's exactly what they did. Toss the Sardar in. They should have been able to burst down the SF right away, but Ice, slight misplay, missed his chain, so he missed his whole entire combination against the SF. So much of that team fight could have gone even better for Vici Gaming. Super misses his avalanche, Ice misses all his damage on the SF. If they kill him before the Shallow Grave, then the fight's very clearly one-sided to Vici Gaming's favor, and they just steamroll through Vega Squadron from there.
Yeah, I think the fact as well that we've been talking about the fact that they didn't have the best of starts in some of the lanes, they can still fight that well. That's got to be a big wake-up call for Vega. They got to say, all right, okay, we've got our items, but we do still need to be very careful with the amount of aggression we show the offense. And Pasha is moving forward here very aggressively.
They still feel really confident. I mean, they still group up, push down that middle lane. They're probably thinking that Winter's Curse and Chain Frost were down, and those were actually two very key abilities.
That screwed them up in that fight. There were some big ults there from Vici. You're right. Yeah, without those, the fight's going to be a lot harder for Vici Gaming to take. And
but they're about to come back up. The Winter's Curse is just down here. That's why Vici Gaming are trying to find some sort of pick-off.
I mean, if Vega are going to go back in themselves, they did smoke to retreat. It doesn't look like they're going to go for the double back.
I mean, they know Burning is still bottom lane, and he can't get there immediately.
Solo, okay, Solo moves forward. He's found Fenrir here. Fenrir will get Ancient sealed up with a Mystic Flare as well. They try and close the gap with the rest of Vega moving forward. They should be able to find Fenrir. No, Super's there with the Avalanche touch. They do lose the Lich, but now Super's got out of the weave. A massive amount of physical damage coming down. He'll be bursted down. And now FY... he's not going to get himself out of this one, and that was Vici getting caught off guard. And I think, as you said, the fact that they realized that Vici did not have the full roster up there, Vega knew it was time to go.
That was also... I mean, I would have to relook at that scenario, but I think FY made a misplay where he was casting like Cold Embrace and Arctic Burn and maybe a Splinter Blast and never got off his ultimate. And there was actually a very key scenario where Super jumped in expecting that ultimate. He got the combo on 2. If there's a follow-up there, the Winter's Curse, that fight's a lot more even, but FY didn't have the mana for it, and turns out the fight ends up being very one-sided. A 3-hero exchange to the favor of Vega.
Bottom lane. You got Pasha on his own at the moment. A couple of heroes hiding the sidelines, and there's a TP in from the Wyvern as well. So I hope they can set something up. But again, it's discipline for some of the players of Vega. Very nice. Pasha he's not going to go anywhere. And yeah, now that they've appeared, he pings it out. Actually, it's just going to be Ice revealing himself as a smoke up from Burning in FY.
He's about to pick up his Blink Dagger. He really cannot afford to go down hard. Hopefully,
he's got the money. He's got the money. He's going to need to
buy it now, Pasha.
Has he bought it? Let's check on the. He's not bought it yet. You need to buy a Blink, sir. Oh, Pasha, buy it!
He may not be dead. No one's coming in with the mech.
Maybe they can turn it. They've got the Dazzle as well. He's going to be fine. And there he goes. He buys the Blink now casually. He's like, all right.
I knew I was fine.
I was fine.
Winter's Curse, amplified damage. No big deal.
I'll just walk it off.
I mean, that was that's Timber Saw as well against a strength hero. It's really deadly, but
Radiant's bottom tower
Pasha correctly reads that he's going to be okay. Now has his Blink Dagger, so he'll be in. That's what it was like. Guaranteed, it was a Blink Dagger for him and not a BKB because they don't have an initiate.
He's really going in for it here. He's seen the supports and he wants to try and give it some. There's the backup from FY as well. Gets his Arctic Burn out, but he's not going to stick around for that fight. And as you were saying, Blink Dagger for Pasha, but also Blink Dagger for Burning as well has been found. So he has now got that Blink as well on the Slardar. FY's going to take a Stormhammer to the face here. They just ban themselves. The Roshan is up as well, so it'll be interesting to see if we see either side go for it anytime soon. Both have fairly good potential for taking down the Roshan.
Watch for the kill combo to happen here. Okay. Pasha jumps in, stuns, and Skyreth Mage ults.
Oh, well, we are going to see some kind of jump in here for Burning. He's found Mag. And there's your amplifier. Mag will get out the orchid, but did still get the amplifier in time of Vega. And I want to fight Pasha. Oh, that's a beautiful stun on there too! And now here we go. Taken down. Now with the blink out just in time from Super. And now with the Spencer Blast as well. Ice moving back in. Oh! There's a Shadow Wave as well, heals them up, the mech as well. Stormhammer onto Ice, they'll move forward. Pasha tries to go for it, the Requiem comes out, Colin Bress, I don't know if it's going to save Ice, and it's certainly not. 2 down on the side of Vici. So Vega just being a little bit more careful with that fight, and okay, Vici aren't done. They try and move in with the combo to Pasha. Stormhammer will hit onto Super, with the Ice Armor as well in the backup of FY. And Burning, they're not going to go in for that one. So Vega again, just pulling out at the right time. They realise that they come out top of an engagement and they say, right, we're done. We'll take the 2 kills. We're not going to give you a chance to get anything in return.
I think, again, Ice had a misplay there. He threw the Timber Chain, not looking at his hero, and ended up like chaining a tree right in front of him, which was a very critical play because if he hits the tree on the far end, he passes through that stun area, gets his whole combination off, and the fight's much different. He's not as grouped up with his team, etc. But Vici Gaming just seemed very off point. I very rarely see misplays out of FY. Ice's play is usually a lot more successfully aggressive.
Oh, hang on, what did I have one as well? Mag's Ogre Club. Alright. Well, a free curry there for Vici. I'll be happy with that. I mean, I guess at this point, the Tiny, is he almost certainly going to be looking for that Axe pick here? Or is there any reason for him to avoid that this game and look for something else?
On the Tiny?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Aghanim Scepter. It's just going to be a long time until the right-click Tiny is good to go. He needs not just Ags, but also
casual
AC.
play Mel, or is he going to go AC first here?
Why would he go? Physical dance. Okay, the Sven as well as the Shadow Fiend, and Tiny is a very low armor hero. So yeah, okay, it's a casual plate mail, and then he'll get the Aghanim Scepter afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the Axe is very good against especially in this lineup that's looking to just man fight.
My mind started going down some sort of rabbit hole where Shiva's Blink Dagger is the new meta on
Shiva's
Tiny.
Blink. Well,
but
if it happens,
there's no way.
We heard it here first. We'll see. But anyway, Roche is going to be on the menu here for Vega. They've got all the ults. I mean, they have got the potential to try and fight. They've got to do it soon, though, because Roshan's falling very quickly. Okay, and it goes down. SF will be able to pick it, and I don't think Vici will want to do anything off the back of that. So, I mean, maybe if they could have gone for the YOLO jump in and the follow-up with the ults, they could have tried for that, but it would have been a bit risky.
Yeah, the problem was that Arctic Burn, and this is why people do not usually level up Cold Embrace at all and leave it at level 1. The Cold Embrace, or the Arctic Burn cooldown is critically important for this hero. The fact that he did not have Arctic Burn and couldn't fly over that cliff prevented any sort of initiation. Because if he can't get a follow-up to Tiny's jump-in combination, if he can't get a good Winter's Curse, then Super jumps in for nothing.
And there we go, we might see something kick off here. Both teams poised on the edge of a possible war here on the bottom lane. No one stepping forward carefully here. Super just with a toss back on one of the creeps. And blink away, just trying the projectile there from Sky. This is a very crucial, but Pasha's on the sideline with a blink as well. He's ready to try and find the setup if multiple heroes group up. Looks like both teams just want to jump. There's an amplifier at the moment, and I went, oh, lost of free gold there for the Ice Timber as he cleans up the spiderlings.
Yeah, he needs it too. He's trying to pick up BKB right now, so he doesn't have to deal with that silence as much. But Pasha is... I mean, if he finds one hero, like if he, for example, FY is too far forward, blink in, Stormbolt, you're going to have an ultimate draw from the Skyreath Mage, and there's nothing Vici Gaming can do to stop that. That'll just be an instant kill on the Winter Wyvern.
I mean, this is just both teams really try to wait on each other to jump, and there's a jump. Pasha goes forward, he spots the Wyvern, and that's the big issue. If he can get him out, the fight's going to be big, but FY gets the Arctic Burnout. He's going to be able to get himself off the sideline. No one actually pops his BKB here. He's not going to be able to do anything with him. There's a fortification. Vici might be ready to go back in. Burning and Super moving forward. They've got the blinks. So they're going to go for it. No, they're just going to be happy with Vega walking off. Super continuing to chase this down. You've got Shoma on the sidelines. And moving forward, the Timber Chain won't catch on with the slow. But Vega will be forced back in. Okay, Shoma. Yeah, they're not out of the vision. They don't know he's there. He's going to be out. So Vega trying to jump in, but they just don't quite have the damage or control really to just deal with Vici Gaming. So a bit of an anticlimactic fight there on the bottom lane, which both teams hung around for about a couple of minutes for.
Yeah, it seemed like the accommodation wasn't quite there. Sky Mage was a bit slow on the Mystic Flare. I don't think he got any Arcane Bolt damage out. His damage is also going to be a bit limited.
Talking about Skara, Solo, he did not want to be up on this top lane. He's fairly tanky, but there is a Tiny here as well, and they'll find themselves the kill. Solo was very far out there on that top lane.
Yeah, that's Solo through and through, though. He's always going to go the 4 position, split push. Seems like that's not going to change no matter what heroes he's playing. He's not a lean-up, but he'll still try and do it on a Skywrath Mage.
Is under attack.
Oh, that's all. One lane. I'm trying to force it back out. It looks like, is that going to be ISO just going for the BKB? Top of the Bloodstone. Yeah, he's very close to it as well. So that's going to be nice from the fight to get him. Fine Shoma. He's popped down the weave and yes.
This is a signature hero for him, and he is not hitting Timber Chains like he should. I don't think there's no way he kills the Dazzle there, but it's still just another display of misplays from Ice, which you normally don't see.
Well, at this point of the game, Vici certainly looking in a lot better state than they were 24 minutes into the last one. And they certainly seem to have adapted and are dealing a lot better with the way that Vega plays this game. But Vega's still and they have their very good kind of upsides of the fact that they've got the Shadow Fiend. 2.8k now on top of the BKB and the Mechanism. They're by no means feeling in any kind of terrible position themselves. They're slightly ahead in terms of net worth. Vici Gaming, they're not going to be feeling as bad as they were in game 1. They've got a lot of potential to grow, and the Tiny certainly is going to be doing so shortly. And it was, as you said, the casual plate mail. He's got the point booster. I believe on the Courier as well, he's got one of the component, 2 in fact. So he's only 1k gold away from the Aghanim. So this Tiny's going to come online.
Was that intentional?
What?
Tiny has room to grow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Level 16 coming in soon. Well done, Owen. Well done.
But this Tiny's going to be the issue. We talked earlier, we said this is going to be kind of the super show. You got to watch him. You've got to see if he's got what it takes to kind of step up to the level that Vega were progressing at earlier on. And he certainly is. He's going to have that Axe very, very shortly.
I can't say that that this game drawing out has given Burning time to recover, because he certainly hasn't. His net worth is abysmal, but he has gotten to a point where, because he's essentially the 3 position Slaughter, let's not really say otherwise, Blink Dagger and Force Staff is all you truly need on a Slaughter. Yeah, the luxury items like AC and those kind of things, they're nice, but the essentials is having those 2 mobility items to couple with Slardar. And in that regard, Slardar is now in a good position. Even if his net worth is abysmal, he's still gotten late enough into the game where he's good essentially for potentially the rest of the game like this. It's going to be up to Super as well as Ice to carry, and Burning's going to be more utility.
Yeah, and it's certainly something that the Vici game has shown us. It can work. I mean, they still, at this point, they've not yet looked for another smoke. They're kind of playing it a bit more careful. I guess kind of hoping that Vega were going to look for some aggression themselves. And they might do so, because SMY's now been picked up on no one. You've got a BKB now done on Mag, on the Brewmother. And, BKB, how's it looking here for Pasha? Yeah, he himself, he's just half the gold short of a recipe. So when those BKBs come online, they may well try and go again. But you've got to remember, Vici Gaming, as well as the fact that they have got a fair bit of magical, they've still got a fair bit of physical as well with the Tiny Slardar.
The one thing that Vega Squadron still have to do, besides pick up their BKBs, is when they go for the 5-man, they have to be the ones initiating onto Vici Gaming. They can't allow Vici Gaming to get the initiation, to get a combination out from the Tiny, to get the Slardar stun, the Winter's Curse, etc., and stop you from using the BKBs in the beginning of the fight, because potentially heroes can be deleted in this lineup from Vici Gaming because they have so much magic and burst damage and so much disable time that your BKB may be a very fancy 4K item that gives you a little bit of strength and some damage, right? So it's very essential that when Vega do go for the push, that Pasha is able to find the opening to blink in first. Even if it's not, even if it's a subpar initiation, he still has to be the one determining the tempo.
What if they can find no one here? Can no one get his BKB up in time before he jumps in? Yes! Great reaction from non-BKB straight, but there's the Winter's Curse to cancel the Requiem. They're gonna look still for it for the second time, but the tossback's there. He just can't get it off. Now he'll be able to get it out, and now they might be able to turn, but Shadow comes out in time. No one's gonna be fine. Now FY, he may be the first to fall in this fight, and he almost certainly will. Yeah, one kill down. It's been a 1-for-1 those. They do still lose no one. Super will fall as well, so it's the Tiny and the Wyvern down at the moment for the SF. Bottom lane, but Burning trying to find Shoma, but he can't quite chase it. Now Ice gets taken down, but he will deny himself there with the Bloodstone. So it's the 3-for-1. Pasha moving forward. He's got the Storm Hammer, but Burning's there with a blink to disjoint it. Femra's going to look for the TP out the sidelines. They won't be able to cancel it. But 3 heroes down for the side of Vici, and I've got to say, this is a bit deja vu at the first game, where Vici looked for a smoke, and they lose the trade 3-for-1.
I mean, you combine the good play of Vega Squadron, like literally almost like picture-perfect Shawl Grave coming out from Human Slayer, preventing SF from dying for 5 seconds, which was critical. Even if he still dies, it buys a lot of time and extra damage.
Burning.
But also, just misplays from Vici Gaming. I mean, Burning looks really uncomfortable on this Slardar. He missed a stun on a Dazzle, which was like guaranteed kill in my mind. I mean, he had amp damage on him. He was down to like 400 HP. If he hits that Slithering Crush, he gets something out of that fight. And they would have traded Dazzle SF in exchange for Tiny, and I think, what was it, a support that died? That would have been actually decent. But because he missed that and had to go back, the fight is very clearly the Vega Squadron's favor. They end up pushing in and just buy more space for themselves to back up and farm.
Vici, and they've got to do something different. And as you say, maybe it is just Burning, just getting the initiative and landing the stuns a little bit better. He's been having a bit of trouble. It feels like it's kind of one of the, obviously every team now is playing the Slardar, and he's like, yeah, pick it for me, we'll be fine, lads. But at the moment, it's not been one of his best performances. But to give him credit, he's been doing well with the position that he's found himself in after the first 15 minutes of the game. He's still been able to contribute, so just laying out the amplifiers in the team fights. But Vega at the moment still just looking to be the stronger force in this game, and it's still, a lot of this is down to Super's Tiny. I mean, he did manage to find, what, 1k gold, okay, on top of the Aghanims. I mean, I guess at this point he's got to get, the AC really for the team. And then with that Assault Cuirass, then these fights might be a little bit harder for Vega to come out on top.
Yeah, if you don't have a Wisp, you have to have AC on the Tiny before you can really fight. So, obviously they should contest Roshan, but it's not going to be ideal.
Let's see if they try and do it though. Are they going to go for the Super? Oh, Super! Well, the stun's there, the edges as well, but the Cold Embrace will be fine, and the double force staff's taking him right out of the fight. Actually saving him here for the time being. Mag's trying to move forward. And now Pasha moving in with the BKB. Super's been caught on the left. Mag will get hold of placed by the Winter's Curse, but he pops the BKB, and now Pasha comes in. They're looking to try and turn this. The Crush was there, holding back the Sven. Pasha continues to move forward. No one's gone down as of yet. Mag walks it off. Burning, is he going to go back in here? Yeah, he's got the blink. Is he going to jump on? Okay, he's going to try and jump on the agency. It was already casted on him. So he can't do anything. Gets himself forced up to the high ground. Cold Embrace is there. Now at the bottom, Super might fight Shoma the Slayer, but the Shallow Grave comes out. Now comes your Chain Frost. Solo's going to fall. Finally a casualty in this fight. Shoma will go down as well. There, Super finds it. As it's 2-for-1, and make that a 3-for-1. A Super kind of cleaning up. FY, Cold Embraces himself. No one to Mag. They're kind of all alone here, and Super's moved back in. As Super might just look to chase down no one here. No one. Again, these avalanches being whipped. No one's going to walk this off, and he might be alright for the time being.
I'm sure they're going to die this.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's get Ice in on the Timber Sword. The BKB now available again.
He's got to toss back in a second.
I think there's still... Oh, this time the avalanche will connect. There's the toss. They'll get the kill eventually. But okay, that really nice fight there for Vici game.
What is Mag doing? He's actually like, alright, thanks no one, thanks for finding me space, buddy. I'll do Roshan solo.
Is this gonna work though? I know this is gonna work out.
This is definitely not gonna work.
Yeah.
FY's just like, oh, hello, Roshan's low.
Oh, cheers, Mag. You've lowered that one down for us.
Oh, look at him, he's gonna go for the steal. He drops Sword of Venom.
Oh, Solo's turned up as well. Drops the Mystic
Flare. They're gonna fight.
Mag, he's going for it with the BKB here. He's looking to man up against Super. And he might just do it. Super turns around with the toss, tosses back the Spider, but the Spider comes back in. The Cold Embrace is there, so Super's going to be fine. F1 Mag, then Pasha!
You're safe.
They lost the Aegis to Vici, but now the blink forward. Pasha's not done. He gets the Stormhammer out, and this man. Vici gaming. They thought, all right, easy Roche. Mags made it, got down. They didn't notice the fact that Vega had all respawned, and Vega were heading straight back to the pit with a very angry Sven. And Sven, he just cleaved the hell out of them.
I mean, ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Vega Squadron went into that fight with a net worth advantage. The fact that Vici Gaming, they played it really well, right? They had certain engagements where they were able to force out the BKBs, didn't actually get anybody caught in the process, then tried to re-engage, and they won that fight. It just took them so long to kill no one that he got 2 different BKB charges off. You know how long a fight has to be in order to get 2 different BKB charges? That's just absurd, right? So it takes them really long to kill him, and then by the time they kill no one, the rest of the team is almost back up, and obviously they're able to respond in time for the Roshan.
And I mean, at the moment, the pressure's coming in on the mid. They've forgot to pop the fortification. Vega will now back off, respecting the fact that Super's going to be back up in 5 seconds. But look off at the back of that fight. So what have we got? So we've actually got, what's that?
That's Halberd.
Halberd coming out. Is that for the, who's been the Halberd?
The Broodmother?
Okay,
has a
yeah,
Sage.
with the sound, yeah, I saw that coming out. I was wondering whose that was, yeah.
I mean, Tiny is a hero that oftentimes doesn't build BKB.
He's got a bit of gold, so he has got that potential if he notices this Halberd. If he sees that Sanj coming out, do you think he says, screw the AC, I need the BKB, or do you think you still just get Assault Crash nonetheless?
I mean, part of the reason, like, Tiny doesn't go BKB a lot, and part of the reason is because he's oftentimes paired with the Wisp, and there's some dyssynergy there, and that Tether doesn't get blah blah blah, right? I think you do still go BK. I think you definitely go BKB if that Halberd is picked up on Super, because it's still going to have a certain amount of value. You don't want to be silenced. There's still a decent amount of magic damage against like the Orchid and stuff. So I still think it would be okay, but it would slow down his late game item progression, which would include things like the Manta and the Butterfly. Looks like he's going to go the Manta before the AC.
So neither the AC or the BKB. I mean, you mentioned the fact that there is, of course, the Orchid in the game. But, of course, Manta's not going to save you against that disarm. So, but nonetheless, it is one of those common pickups here for the Tiny. And actually, Vega are looking for something. They're smoked up. And I'm going to move forward, but looks like Vici are aware that something might be happening here. Actually got 3 at the moment in the jungle here with the Radiant, just the 2 back towards the base, and Vega are actually going to now wrap back round here. We'll see if they're able to make it back over to their half of the map before the smoke runs out. They've still got a bit of time, and they might find someone here. Gonna see the smoke dispel here, and there's the blink forward. They found Bernie. Bernie, he's got the blink. He'll blink down into the lane. And they chase this. Pasha with the war cry moving forward. There's gonna be the TP out there from the Lich. They'll all get themselves out. Vici Gaming very nicely avoiding the wraparound gank there from Vega.
So I want to bring something up. The SNY is a potential item for the Broodmother. It's very weird, but he could go for an SNY. But I actually want to talk about the other item that he could go for. It would be simply weird.
We see the
Silver Edge against the Tiny Craggy, as well as the Timbersaw reactive armor.
All right.
It's actually exceptionally good. Don't think it's a hero on a Broodmother, but who the hell knows what Mag is thinking, right? Like, he may be thinking next level, okay, I'm moving around in these fights, I want to be able to remove that passive. It'd be a very weird situation. I don't think that's ever been seen before, but this is definitely weird.
This man is a dead man. Wyvern down in the mid lane. But yeah, as you said, I mean, maybe. Obviously, Mag, he's the one that's been talking with what the number 1 brood player on Dota buff, and maybe the guy says, like, if there's ever a game you're struggling in, don't tell anyone about this. But there's a mythical item, the Silver Edge. It will change things. Mid lane, Pasha going in with the God Strength, take down the tier 3, but there's the Crush, the Winter's Curse as well. They're looking to focus Pasha, but this man's fairly tanky, gets the BKB out, and now Vega looking to turn that. Forced by Vici Gaming here. Now Vici coming back into a super. They're going to have a blink in a couple of seconds. The blink out is there from the Sven. Can they catch anyone off the back of this? They'll get Mag in the timber chain. There's your dust coming out as well. Will clip the Broodmother here. Super wrapping round. Gets the Avalanche off in the toss as well. Looking for Mag, but Mag gets off the BKB. Now trying to turn. And look at this lifesteal. Nom. Getting the heals up on Super. Super is cold embrace up there for the time being. Vega trying to move forward. Solo gets blasted there by Fenrir on the Lich. And the Requiem came off on the sidelines, didn't quite clip that many people, and Vici Gaming, are they done? Do they want to try and go in for more here? They seem to be Yeah, okay, toss forward, Burning coming through with a crush onto two, but Pasha's there with the God Strength. Warcry as well, moves himself off. Looks like Vega really don't want to fight this here. No one's in a pretty critical condition. He's going to look for the TP out. Shallow Grade there as well. Do they have a cancel? No, they don't. The SF's going to be able to get themselves out. The toss will be down to Showman the Slayer. They might just be able to find the Dazzle, but no, Pasha's there with the Stormhammer, saving the Dazzle. The Warcry as well. Showman tries to run, but there's your quote from Burning. They do finally find the Dazzle. Pasha still alive here on the sidelines, and so Solo as well. Solo, oh, he's about to have some fun with 5 men from the side of Vici game, and he's got a Ghost Scepter, but I don't know if it's going to be able to help him here. They move forward with the Avalanche, with the slap to the back from the Tiny. They'll take down the Skywrath as well. So a bit of a messy fight there from Vega, and they were just unable to get themselves out as much as they tried, because Vici Gaming were just straight at their heels and chased them right around the whole map.
I don't want to flame B-God. I really don't. I'm very hesitant to do so. There is a very, very small chance that his Force Staff was on cooldown, and that's the reason that he did not hit the stun on the SF. But no one TP'd out, and Slardar slithering Crush, but he wasn't in range, right? So first of all, he misread the range,
okay,
right? But another thing is, I clicked on him immediately afterwards, and Force Staff was on cooldown. I believe what he intended to do was Force Staff stun, stop the TP out from no one, and then they have a huge kill. Like, screw the 2 supports. Who really cares about those 2? From Vega Squadron, it's no one that you really wanted in that kill. But the fact that he wasn't able to achieve that means that Vici Gaming, despite playing, again, very well in that team fight in order to disengage from the BKBs and et cetera, did not get a big game-changing kill like they should have.
Yes, yeah.
It's just been a very weird game.
It's been a weird game.
It's mostly because certain players have not been performing up to the standard that I expect from them. I expect very good things from Burning. I think he's one of the legends of the Chinese scene for a reason. But it's not this one. It's not Slardar, that's for sure.
No. In terms of kind of item progression, what are we seeing? So it was of course the Halberd on the Broodmother that he ended up going for. I believe that is that a completed AC by the looks of it here for Pasha. He just needs to plate mail, doesn't he? So okay, just 400 gold to go, and he'll have that on himself. So AC going to be done on Pasha. Whereas you look over to the Tiny, so he's got the Hyperstone, but that is okay, and yeah, he's got the chainmail as well. So a little bit behind in terms of the AC progression. But I mean, one more kind of team fight where Vici find a couple of kills. They'll have their AC as well.
Yeah, the thing is he can pick at the AC, but he can't go BKB afterwards. I think the disarm is always going to be a factor here. He's just going to have to accept the fact that he's going to be dealing with 3-second disarm, because he has to go MKB next, right? Yeah. You have Butterfly and a Halberd. That's 2 different heroes that have evasion, and the Sven is naturally incredibly tanky against your physical damage, so you don't want to target him necessarily either. So he has to go the MKB so he can target the 2 evasion type heroes and try and burst them down.
Okay, and again, it's just that case of buying time here, really. Burning. He's fairly deep into enemy territory here. He should be fine. Blinks himself out, wanders away. ISI's just hiding in the tree line. Yeah, he realizes it's time to TP out. You can't look for any funky business down there. Yeah, okay, there it is. So he must have had something hiding away. So it comes out very shortly after this fence. So AC's coming out on both sides. They're both going to be ready for the next fight.
We'll probably have an Ags Timbersaw quite soon here.
Okay.
It's necessary because when your typical Burning Slardar is not actually a core factor at all in this game, he's just complete utility and always will be most likely, the Timbersaw has to make up for that in his damage, and the best way to do that is get the Aghanims upgrade, doubling up the Chakrams and giving you a little bit more late game possibilities, because as this game goes further and further, I'm looking at this going, I expected Burning to have some level of farm and to have the Tiny take over that one position and Ice to be a factor. You'd have 3 different cores that all deal a lot of damage, but Burning isn't a factor, and so that just leaves the tiny Timbersaw, and I'm not sure damage-wise if that actually outdoes the SF Sven, and then you're including the Broodmother in that factor as well.
Yeah, and one thing nice as well, ready for the side of Vici. Okay, Mag. They'll find the crush this time, and here they go, moving forward with the Amplify. Mag pops the BKB. Maybe hoping to try and turn him around with some lifesteal. It's not going to work. Mag goes down. He walked into range there with the mech, but it wasn't enough to save him. There is some reaction here from the side of Vega. We'll see if they want to try and take a fight. It looks like they certainly do. Solo moving forward. Get the slow out onto Super. They're going to be able to jump on this one. F5 turns around. Oh, that Winter's curse, but the Shallow Grave comes out in time. No one up at the BKB. Look at Pasha moving in with the Ghost Trap. Tried to cleave through the side of Vici Gaming. Now Super will get the toss back onto Pasha. Pasha continues to move back in, and Ice did Timber Chain him very aggressively there, but he's fine. He's tanky enough to deal with this amount of damage. The Timber Chain is going to be a bit short though. Super will find Shoma there on the sideline, so he takes down Dazzle as well off the back of that fight, and now there's the crushes that you're looking for. Finds themselves a third pick off. No one looks for the TP out, and he'll find it. There wasn't any chance of cancelling that one. So Vici Gaming finding 3 heroes, not the 2 that are the high priority, but at least Mag and the 2 supports to follow suit.
Great, very small play, but has a lot of impact in that fight, and will have a lot of impact in future fights, is the way that Tiny tossed back the Sven, basically ensuring more kiting time against the Sven during that critical God Strength BKB timer. Yeah. Yeah, Ice, is he going Chivas?
I think he is. He's got the recipe, and he's got the money for the Mystic, and he's got the plate mail on it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
I mean, it's a lot of physical damage from Vega between the SF and the Sven. I do think armor is the right play. I thought that he was going to feel the pressure of like, oh god, I need more damage, but apparently that's not needed. Vici Gaming win yet another fight as Vega Squadron. I mean, part of it is they tried to force it, and it was a very awkward, staggered initiation. They didn't have Mag there as well, but it's still the fact that Vici Gaming were able to win a fight and don't obviously need more damage out of Ice. Apparently, the Shivas is going to be better pickup, obviously utility, greater defense on the Ice Timbersaw, and greater catch as well, as the mobility of the Timbersaw is now going to be paired with a very nice, easy to land slow.
Super. He's going to jump straight in here onto No One, and with the Burning Crush to follow up as well. There is the armor on No One, so he's hard to bring down. He'll look for the Requiem, he'll find it. Oh, bursting, burning right down, so he's got to get himself the hell out of there. Now Super will be chased up. The Cold Embrace comes out, with the Mystic Flares there to negate the heal of the Cold Embrace. Mag's there with chomps. There'll be the toss onto the Spider. Super trying to turn this one around now with the Winter's Curse onto Pasha, but now there will be Shallow Grave up. Ice pops the BKB, continues to try and fight, but No One looks for the TP out, and he'll get himself away as well. Ice, the BKB's going to come off in a minute here. He's still trying to move forward onto Solo. The rest of Vici's there, Super from Pasha, looks straight across them with the BKB and the God Strength. He'll take down Burning. Now he's got to run though, because Super fairly tanky. Not going to be able to man fight this, and there we go with the combo, the toss, and the avalanche. They'll take down Sven as well. He's down for 75 seconds. Mag's trying to fight here, but there's still 4 heroes very healthy on the side of Vici. Now no one's been caught up by the crack. He gets his BKB out. Ice trying to move forward, and now the ancient seals go off. He's ready to continue the fight. Gets the Timber Chain out onto Solo, but you know what? Sorry, Shoma with his Shallow Graves. They've been huge, but not huge enough. Solo still goes down here in that mid lane fight, and Vici Gaming will find the tier 2. And again, talked about how Vega hit their peak earlier. It's starting to feel that peak is certainly falling away, especially now at the point where pretty much every hero with the BKB on Vega is now down to 5 seconds.
Yeah, I also think Vega Squadron are just not taking very good fights. Again, first of all, they were kind of initiated on. Second of all, like the Pasha, it looked like a next level play where he turns around and kills Burning and tries to get out, but the trade-off of him for Burning is very clearly not worth it, and the following fight afterwards wasn't good either.
Mag, he's trying to fight here with the BKB, moving in onto Super. Now he's going to turn towards Ice, who's still on the high ground. Ice will be able to Timber Chain away. Now looks like Vici will be forced back, so they don't lose the racks here. Vega are able to keep those intact. Still a pretty costly fight here for the side. And just look at the amount of money on Super. He's just brought someone straight up, hasn't he? What was he? Okay, yeah, he's going for the MKB here, and he's pretty much got the money. He needs to actually just turn and fight onto Mag. Mag's trying to move with No One. Pasha's there as well with the Stormhammer. It's going to connect onto Super with the God Strength as well. F1's on the high ground. Mag continues to try and chomp him down here. They've got the help of Shoma and Solo, so they will find that kill. No One's trying to move forward, but Vici have backed themselves away. But there's Yags now on Timbersaw, so still some big item pickups coming out for the side of Vici Gaming. I mean, MKB done on Tiny.
These fights just got so much easier now that they have essentially double damage on Timbersaw with 2 different chakrams. You now have are able to deal with the evasion as well as I forgot to mention the miss percentage chance of incapacitating bite that Mag brings to the table, all cleared through by that MKB. Vega Squadron better get one hell of initiation in this fight, because every single time they go and they try and get some sort of fight, some sort of hold, they're always being beautifully disengaged on by Vici Gaming. The supports are playing exceptionally well in that regard. Always saving the right hero.
Look at them go as well. They're going to try and go straight for the high ground, but this is a bit of a kind of a hazard play, because if they don't get away with this, it's going to really hurt them. 13 seconds still without the Wyvern, burning again with these crushes, just a little bit off the point. I see if Vega can do it. They're trying before Ice actually gets the Shivas out. Back off, no one. Just start to be channel out Requiem and burning. Now he'll find the crush onto no one. Super's moving forward. Silence straight away onto FY. Now he's calling the Mystic Flare. Will get the Glimmer Cape out. It's going to be fine. Gets himself out and Requiem flies through. The Chain Frost though is going to bounce and look at the cost. The ultimate as well from Wyvern holding Mag in place. He goes low. He has got the Shallow Grave, but he'll almost certainly still go down. It's going to be 2 down here for the side of Vega. No one's in a lot of trouble as well. Caught in the middle. Triple kill for Ice, and they may just find more. Burning gets the crush onto Pasha. They'll close the gap here with the Shivas. And I said that fight was going to be incredibly costly if Vega don't come out on top. And with 4 heroes down, that was a little bit of a desperation play there from Vega, trying to go for the Rex. And they just can't do it against the 5-man of Vici.
The way I was going to describe that fight was that if Vega Squadron do not win or draw even, that it's lights out for them. And
Yeah,
I really do believe that it's
got
pretty much the game.
buybacks,
Like,
but not on the Sven.
Yeah, Vega will probably be able to like force one last desperation team fight, but they've just given up like over 12,000, 14,000 gold. They're gonna lose like probably 2 different lanes of Raxes here at the bare minimum.
I mean, here are your buybacks, but they're going to be fighting without a Sven, and I don't know if they can do that. They're trying to go on up, but this Timber Saw is just so damn tanky. He moves himself back, amplifies that down onto Max. The Silence is down to Burning, so he can't get the crush off. Now they'll try and chase for the BKB. He's forcing Vici back out of the base. 20 seconds before the Sven is back, so if they can buy this time here, they might be alright. Mystic Flare comes down, but Vici Gaming, they're just too strong. They've taken down Mag. That's a dieback on your Broodmother. No one's inevitably going down as well. GG, well played is called. Vega just leaving it too late. We talked about this at the beginning of the entire series. You can deal with Vici in the early game. You can take a win. 26 minute was the first victory for Vega. You try and take it late. Vici Gaming are just a little bit smarter about the decisions they make. But hats off to Vega because they certainly gave it their all.
Yeah, Vega Squadron were actually so damn close to being able to just 2-0 Vici Gaming like this. I think they made a few mistakes going into the mid game that possibly